Hello everybody, thank you for joining me in another video. If you remember in the last video, which was the power window fix, I was going to tell you why half my engine is missing and why there's a pile of parts over here in the corner. I'm sure you can spot the two turbos, and I'm sure those that are well versed with R32 GTRs probably know what happened, but it's the front turbo and it's the rear turbo here. Take a look here. The infamous ceramic exhaust wheel. Easily tell that it's ceramic, you know, versus your steel. We go here and take a look at turbo 1. We got no wheel. Wheel went bye-bye. So I'm going to try and explain what happened and what my future plan of action is. But before we get into that, I want to take a moment for everybody to get off their chest that one phrase that I'm sure a lot of people are yelling at the TV right now.
Not the kind of person to say a told us so, but you know what? A told us so. A fucking a told us so.
Yep, I told you so. I know that a lot of people are going to be telling me that about removing my boost restrictor, but I've done a lot of research about it, and there have been a lot of people that have removed their boost restrictor and have gone years without having any issues. And then there are some people that remove their boost restrictor and they blow the turbos within 2-3 months. The consensus seemed to be that if you didn't beat on your car and you didn't overboost, that you should be fine. I checked my electronic boost controller. The last high that I had on there was 13 psi. I also, if you recall, in my electronic boost controller, I was looking for 15 psi, but I was only looking for 15 psi because that was the value that I was trying to find so I can set my limiter. 14.7 to 15 psi was my limit. So if I hit that, it should limit it down to, I set it to about 13 psi. So maybe I did hit the limiter. It does give me a warning. There was no warning recorded on my last high, so. Furthermore, there wasn't any drama when I was driving it last. When it last was able to hit boost, there was no backfire, there was no misfire, there was nothing like that. The only reason I knew there was anything wrong was because the car was ridiculously slow. So that brings us to the question of the hour. What am I going to do next? Now, I've been modifying cars since high school. And every car that I've ever gotten has been stock. I like doing it this way because I like to learn and get to know the car and to feel the car and learn the car's limits, and then modify it to where I think it's lacking or any type of weak points like ceramic turbochargers. The funny thing is, I was actually planning on when I parked the car this winter on pulling the turbos and finding a solution for it, but the car decided on its own about a month before I was going to do that. So my plan is I am going to be sticking with the twins. After that, once I get those in there, the next plan is going to be health tech and fueling. And somewhere maybe before or after that, I'm going to take the intake plenum apart, redo all the gaskets, do all the heater hoses, and clean up that snake's nest that's underneath there. At that point, I'm going to compile engine parts for the car, at the very least to fix that infamous oil pump problem so I can have a reliable RB26. Now to do that, I had to rely on overnight parts from Australia. Aside from Tomei, there aren't a lot of JDM options for turbos for the Skyline, which is kind of interesting. That being said, I actually went with GCG Turbo in Australia because they offer a full bolt-on kit. So without further ado, let's see what GCG Turbo had to offer. Alright, here we have what we're going to be working with. I went with the seemingly the cookie cutter replacement for a stock twin turbo GTR, which is the 2860R, the geared 2860R of the Dash 5 model. Here she is, an old non-ceramic glory. I went through, as I mentioned before, I went through GCG Turbo in Australia. Strangely enough,
can't really find any plug-and-play turbo kits for the GTR. A lot of them are single, not a lot for twin. The reason why I went with them is because they, actually here's the company right there, came with this entire kit with everything you need to attach these turbos. It's got your actuator lines, 2 sets of gaskets here, including washers and O-rings, 2 metal exhaust gaskets. They even give you the gaskets, there's 2 gaskets here for the exhaust, for your downpipe, new drain pipes for the turbo, new studs for the turbo. I actually had to go get the hardware, matching hardware, because mine was short. They do give you some, but these are locking nuts for the 4 that attach to the manifold. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the one thing I'm going to have to figure out. Since this is a ball bearing and not a journal bearing turbo, I think I need to run a restrictor. And one of the fittings, and this came with the turbo, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to use this in the oil line. I'm going to double check. They even give you T's and everything, zip ties, all that. Not included in the kit, but what I wanted to do because the stock lines for these turbos were just ridiculous to work with. I actually asked Michael Ramsey over at GCG Turbo if they carried any steel braided lines. They do not, at least not for a twin turbo application. He did refer me to this company here. You do get them through eBay, and as he says, he hates referring people to eBay, but it is quite good quality and there's not a whole lot of options, so this is the option I went with, and I must say it is actually pretty good quality. Kind of got, this is the OEM fitting that goes into the block here, so you kind of see I've got it mocked up how it needs to go. But I would highly suggest getting one of these kits and just not messing with the stock lines, because it's just going to save you a lot of time and headache. Got some thread sealer so I can go ahead and seat these studs here. Don't forget to replace the O2 sensor. This is for the front turbo. Yeah, front. There's your part number if you need it. And of course a compression tester, so I can test the engine, make sure it's healthy after the turbo decided to relieve itself.
Thank you guys for joining me on this video, and please join me on the next one where I'll show you how to have your very own pile of Skyline.